All right, welcome back to Higher Education Leadership Unplugged, real talk for real results. And today we're talking about how to protect and conquer your inner peace. Now, I know sometimes, especially as leaders, you may wake up in the morning and you just feel off. Your spirit is off and you just can't pinpoint what it is. You know that you went to sleep fine. You know you were happy, you were relaxed, and now you wake up the next morning and your spirit is just off. Now you're thinking about, why did I say to that person? Why did I treat that individual that way? And it just disrupts your entire day. Sometimes that has to do with your inner peace. So today I'm going to give you three quick tips that you can use to make sure that you're protecting your inner peace so that you can become the best version of yourselves for you and your team. All right. So the first thing is, some of us may have to eliminate or separate from things or people who affect our peace in a negative way. You may have a project that's coming up and you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I'm going to be successful at this. Why did they choose me? I'm not educated in this area. Am I going to fail? Am I going to embarrass myself? They're never going to ask me to do anything ever again. And now you have to think to yourself, wait a minute, where did all of this negative self talk come from? Where did it stem from? Was it an event that took place, or was it an individual that said something to you or treated you a certain way that still resides here? And now it's affecting all of these false beliefs that's clouding your mind every single day. You may have to cut some folks off. And I know for me, I had to make a hard stop to some relationships because of the way they made me feel. And the minute that I made that decision, life just totally changed. For some of you, it may be family members. It may be some family members who every single time you talk to them is so much negativity. They're draining you emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And you may think to yourself, well, I don't want to cut off family. So in cases like that, what you have to do is limit the amount of time that you're talking to certain people. Because if they're robbing you of your peace, that's not doing you any good at all. So sometimes you have to think back to, where did all of this really stem from? For some, it may be things that you have to cut off, like social media, listening to the radio, certain movies or shows that you watch that may affect your mind in a negative way, the news. I always make it a point, and this is something that took a long time, because every single time that I woke up in the morning, I had a bad habit of picking up my phone. I'm checking emails, I'm scrolling through social media. And I realized that it used to disrupt my peace, because think of social media, for example. When you pick up your phone the first thing in the morning, you have no idea what's going to be the first item in your feed. And what that is can totally disrupt your entire day. So now I'm practicing. When I wake up in the morning, I start thinking of all the amazing things that happened yesterday. I start thinking about what I'm thankful for today. And I try to put my phone as far away as possible, even though it's always on my side table. But I try to make it a case to imagine that it's not even there. And it has changed my attitude in the morning. So a lot of times when you think of people, whether it's friends, whether it's family, you think of social media, movies, radio, TV, you have to think, how do these people or how do these items make me feel emotionally? How do they make me feel mentally? Does it throw off my entire day? And if the answer is yes, you either eliminate it or you limit the amount of time that you're spending doing certain things or talking to certain individuals. The second thing is, live in the present. A lot of times we're always thinking about the future, what you want to do, okay, where you want to go, what you want to become, the influence you want to have. And you start thinking, is it ever going to happen? Is it really for me? Am I worth it? Do I really deserve this? And when you're thinking about those type of thoughts, are you really in peace? No, Because there's nothing negative about saying, am I really worth it? I mean, really? So instead, what you should do is think of who you are now. Live in the moment. Think of where you've come from. Write down your achievements. Think about what you're grateful for. And the reason why it's so important to write down the things that you've accomplished, even if it was between the last 6 months to a year, is because now you have a hard copy of something that you can actually refer back to. Sometimes our mind is clouded with so many thoughts throughout the day. But if you have something that you can look back at and say, these are the things that I've accomplished in the last 6 months, you might even surprise yourself. And now what happens, it builds your self confidence. Because a lot of times, if you're just thinking, you may feel like you haven't accomplished anything at all until you really start thinking back to those times where you were so nervous about something and you thought you were going to fail, and then all of a sudden that time has passed and you're like, wow, that actually passed already and I did an amazing job. Keep note of those events, because you have to be able to look back and say, no, 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 I've accomplished so much in life, and it's going to drive you to want to accomplish even more. Okay. The last thing is develop self love. And I know all of us are guilty of this. Sometimes we have a hard time loving ourselves because we're never satisfied or genuinely happy with who we are as individuals. And that disrupts your peace alone. I actually did this exercise with an admissions team a couple weeks ago, and I asked them to really think of a gift that they have or a talent that they had. And if anyone had a hard time coming up with what they think is a gift, right? I said, all right, let's say I am outside, I'm out and about, and I just happen to walk past one of your friends, right? They don't know me, they have no idea that I'm there. What is one thing that you think they would be saying about you? And whatever that is, then I went on to ask, do you agree with it? And if the answer is yes, okay, well, then let's use that. How can you use that gift to serve other people? This is very important because sometimes when we think of gifts, we think of gifts that are always on a platform, right? Singers, dancers, entertainers. And if we don't fit into that box, we think as if we have nothing to offer, right? But that's not necessarily true. Some of you may have the gift to empathize with people. And that's a very, very critical gift to have, because empathy is what this world is lacking. But once you identify what your gift is, now you have to think of, how can I serve someone with this gift that I have been given? Because when you think about it, when you start serving people and you start doing things for people that make them happy and make them smile, it in return makes you feel much better about yourself, right? Your self confidence begins to grow. The way you view yourself and the way that you think of yourself is totally different. You become more happier, you become more fulfilled. And then what happens? You want to go out and serve more people. All right. All of this contributes to your peace in a positive way. Because I'm telling you, if you do not have that peace from within, it's going to disrupt everything that you do in life. And when mentally you feel down, now emotionally you're down, then spiritually you're down, and eventually it's going to start to affect you physically as well. So sometimes you just have to try to pinpoint, where did everything start and how can I get back to being me? All right. So remember, the first thing is eliminate some people or separate from things that are disturbing your peace. And when it comes to people, it may not be the case of eliminating people altogether. You just have to limit your time with certain individuals who are draining you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Okay, the second thing is live in the present. Stop thinking so far into the future. It's good to have goals, but then it's another thing to have those goals consume you, where you're missing the great things that are happening today. And the last thing is to develop self love. We always say you can't love other people if you don't even have the love for yourself. All right. So think of all the amazing things that you bring to this world, because if you don't discover it, there's so many people who's going to miss out on you. All right. Thanks for joining today. Remember to like, okay, subscribe so that you do not miss any future notifications. And if you think this information would definitely help someone, please share it with them. See you tomorrow.